Hey guys, today we're going to learn how to build Python from source on Linux. Now, if you look on the right side here, I have my little guide showing how to do this. If you want to find this guide, check the link in the description. You might also be watching this video from, I'm going to embed this video on this page, so you might actually be watching the video from this very page itself. Any case, so we're going to download the source for Python and build it on Linux. So these are basically the instructions, but you'll notice I have actual version numbers in here. Now, one thing you're going to want to make sure is to go check the latest version number. You can check that following this link. But the other thing you're going to want to make sure is that you have build essentials installed. So you'll need like make and all the regular build tools like GCC and stuff like that. And on Ubuntu, I'm doing this on Ubuntu. To get that on Ubuntu, you need build essentials. So for example, this is the package here. This is what I have built, build essentials. If you don't have that, you would say apt, you'd say sudo apt update, and then you would say, after it updates, you would say sudo apt install, and you'd say build essentials. So, take that package name, paste it right there, and just install build essentials. So you do that if you don't have it installed. So if you have an error that says like GCC or make doesn't exist, you might need to install those prerequisites. I didn't mention that in the doc because I already have that stuff already installed and set up to build other projects. Anyways, just worth mentioning. The other thing, check the version of Python you have. So right now, version 3.10.0 is the current version as of now, and that's we can go to python.org, go to downloads, and we see the current download it points to is 3.10.0. Now, if you look here, there actually exists a 3.11.0, and I believe that's probably like beta or something. But just get whatever they recommend here. You could click on this and download it yourself. You could download the source. But we're going to use wget, which makes it a little bit easier. You can do it all from your terminal. So I'm going to use wget. And just use this command like this and paste it in here. And we're going to change the command to, we're going to change the version in here to the current version. And pull it down. It comes down pretty quick because it's not that big. And we now have a tar.gz file, which is 24 megs. All right. So, which I guess we saw in the download anyways. But first thing you're going to want to do is unpack it. So tar xvfz and the package name. Now the X will unpack it. The V is a verbose. F stands for file, just says unpack whatever file you specify. And the Z will also unzip it. So you're untarring it, but specifying the Z option will tell it to also unzip the file because it's tarred and zipped or and gzipped. So let's unpack it, and there we go. Here's our tarball, and here is the actual unpacked directory. So we're going to cd into that directory, Python. All right, there we go. This is the source directory. Now that we're in here, I'm gonna actually specify a home directory for this. Now you could use the default directory. And when you build something, and there are three main steps that you normally follow when building things. Some projects are different and require more steps or fewer steps. So you have configure, make, and make install. So let's just zoom this in a little bit. See, configure will set up variables for your system, just to get the make file ready and everything, so it's ready to compile on your system. Now the make command will actually compile the project, and make install will actually copy all those files over to an actual, finished directory for a finished product, so to speak. So a lot of times all the components like the binaries, the config files, and libraries and everything else will get spread across your system, like in USR lib or USR local or whatever else. On Linux, they just get spread across the system, which is how things are done normally. Now, if you have other Python versions installed on your system, this could get confusing pretty quickly and get pretty messy. So and personally, I just don't like doing things that way. I like to put it in one controlled directory, so everything, whether it be libraries, config files, whatever else, binaries, all get thrown in one directory, so it's modular and basically in one place. So the way we do that is during the configure command, you can configure where it will get built, or where it will be placed once you do the make install. So you can specify prefix equals and just give it a directory where you want it to be built. And you can also enable optimizations. I forget why we need this, but it's recommended that you do it. So we're enabling optimizations. Now there are a lot of other things, full disclosure here, there are a ton of other things you can build it with. You might want to build it with like SSL support and a ton of other options that you want to build Python with. Otherwise, certain modules won't be supported or work. So if you may find out that you have to rebuild Python with support for more modules and with more prerequisites. You might need to build in support from other third-party libraries to get certain things to work when building your own version of Python, and there's a ton of stuff you can do depending on your needs. So if you do build your own version of Python from source, there's a good chance you're going to end up having to build it again and again and again as you add new things that you like. And once you get to the state where you want it to be, you'll have a lot of stuff added to it, which is kind of nice, having your own custom built version of Python. But if you just want Python to work so you can learn Python and work on a bunch of Python projects, you're probably better off just using a pre-built binary. You can download the pre-built binary from python.org. Like going here instead of source, you could just do the binary, which is all fine and great. Or what's even easier, if you're on Linux, just install it using the package manager. You can just do apt install Python. So for example, I actually already have Python installed on this system. So Python-v. So I have Python 2 here, and so I have Python 2 already installed, and I have Python 3 if I specify Python 3. I have Python 3, 8, 10 installed. So we're going to be we're going to be building a slightly newer version of Python, and it's going to be a custom build. And I'll show you how to put that on the path too. So it's much easier to just install it using a package, though, using your system's package manager. That's the easy way if you just want to get up and running with Python with a bunch of libraries, and then you can use pip to install whatever else you need. And even if you build it yourself, you can still install pip and use pip, but you might find a lot of things you install require Python to have been built with things like SSL and all sorts of other libraries that you want to build it with. So that said, we're not going to cover all those extra things you could build it with in this video. We're just going to show you how to build Python. So here we specify the prefix of a custom prefix. In this case, I want to put it in my home directory, in a directory called Python 3. And then when we make it, it's going to make it in the current directory, in the current source directory. But then when we say make install, it's going to copy all those binaries and everything to this directory here. So let's jump in there and give it a shot. So let's see if I have Python, this directory here already. I do have it. All right. Let's see. And let's see. All right, so that's fine. Yeah, so it looks like I've installed Python 3 from a package, so I'm going to get rid of the version that I created in my home directory. So there we go. I removed that build directory in my home directory, or that's the install directory rather. So if we check that file, it doesn't exist. So that's where our finished product is going to go. So we're going to build it there. So right now I'm going to do the configure step, specifying that directory. So let's configure it. And this will take a little while. I may speed this up depending on how long it takes. I may just speed this up when I edit the video later. And there we go. That didn't take too long at all. Now, all right, apparently saying enable optimizations is if you want all stable optimizations active. Okay, so that's what that does. Either way, it's recommended, and I don't see any reason not to use it. That's what we did actually use. So anyways, after running configure, all you have to do is run make. And this is where it actually runs GCC and actually compiles Python for you. So we see here it's compiling some C files into object files. All right, there we go. So that wasn't too bad. Now that we've run make, let's run make install. Now, I'm gonna just to reiterate, this directory does not exist yet. The make install command is this step is what's going to actually populate this directory. So now we've actually built Python right now. So it's probably placed it in. I'm going to guess this Python directory here. Anyways, wherever it placed the files, the compiled libraries and binaries, it's going to copy all of those files into our home user Python 3 directory. It doesn't exist yet, but it will as soon as I run make install, or as soon as the command finishes. So make install. So yeah, the 3 steps of building something is usually configure, make install. And you'll sometimes have options for those. And sometimes you have different steps depending on what you're building. All right, so warning, value for scheme headers does not match. Please report, blah, blah, blah. This is probably fine. I think this is going to work totally fine. Scripts are installed here, which is not on path. Okay, that's fine. This is just telling us we need to set up the path, it looks like. All right, yeah, that's all fine. All right, so now the directory, our build directory, or our install directory right here in home user Python 3 should exist and have our Python distribution in it. It does not exist. So something went wrong. Did I typo something? Yeah, I did typo something. Okay, so I typoed that, but that definitely didn't exist before running this. Anyways, it's user1, not user. Okay, anyways, this is our build directory. All right, so let's jump into this directory. Now here's our Python distribution that we built. So, all right, notice we have some libraries, the bin directory. The bin directory is where Python actually lives. So bin, and notice we have pip and we have Python in there. So let's just cd into there just to make this a little easier. Now we could run. Actually, let's see here. Notice some of these are links. Python 3 points to Python. So you have the exact version minus the last section of the version number. And this is pointed to by Python 3. And normally, if you have Python 2 and 3 on the system, Python 3 would be named like this. And you could also create a link from just the word Python to Python 3 if you want it to be that by default. Anyways, let's try running this version of Python. Python 3. Let's just run it, and notice that gives us the latest version of Python, Python 3.10.0. That's newer than what we have installed in the system. If we were to run regular Python 3 without specifying the current directory. We have Python 3.8.10. That's our old version installed on the system with a package. So the version we just installed, if you run it from the current directory, is the newer version. So that's kind of exciting. Now, as it stands right now, you would have to run this from this current directory. Also in this directory, we have pip3, pip, which I already have on my system. But we have pip3 here, so we can install things into Python if we want. This will install things into this Python distro. So that's also kind of nice. Now, jump back a directory real quick, and you'll see that we have, so there's the bin directory. We have an include, a lib, and a share. So include, let's see, that just includes some header files. I guess in case you wanted to build something else using this. We have some library files here. And I guess the man pages are in a share file. So we have Python man pages. All right. And you could actually cat this if you wanted. Anyways, that is installing Python. Let's cover a few more things. So we covered how it gives you Python 3 and pip3, right? So if you want this to be on your path, let's just check what our path is right now. Echo $path. So our path contains a few different things. Standard path with a few things I've added like Erlang, RabbitMQ, Kafka, the JDK, stuff like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to say export path equals, and we're going to specify the bin directory of our new Python install, and just add that to the existing path variable. So paste that over here and hit enter. Now if we run, we can be anywhere, right? CD to my home directory, and I can run Python 3, and it's going to tell me the new version of Python. So now I'm using the new version of Python instead of the existing version that was already installed on my system. If I get rid of that path variable, it's going to go back to the old version. Now, if you want that path to be persistent, you could you can literally just put this command at the end of your bash RC. So you can go like this. So you can go echo this bash RC, oops, dot bash RC. Now, so it actually looks like it expanded my path. That's fine though. So it set my path to this. That's fine. Note that Python 3 is at the beginning of our path now, and this is what's specified in. So anytime, let's say, let me just give you a quick demo. All right, open up a new terminal, and just zoom in here. Say Python 3, and notice this is the new version of Python because it's on our path. And I believe you need, was it 2 dashes? Yeah, so if you want to get the version number, I've been launching the interpreter this whole time, but if you want to get the version number, just say Python 3 -- version like this, and you get it. So anyways, that covers that covers how to set it up on your path. And let's just try the which command, which Python 3, and that tells us that we're using the version of Python 3 in our newly installed directory. Same thing with pip. You can just verify that pip is in that new directory also. And yeah, that's about it. That's everything we wanted to show. So hopefully you found this useful, or at least interesting, if nothing else. You might want to give me a thumbs up. You might want to hit that subscribe button also. and hit the little bell icon. Otherwise, YouTube's probably not going to let you know when we come out with a new video. We do have a lot of great stuff coming up, and we've actually, if you want to check our list of videos, we've already put out a lot of pretty interesting things, some more interesting than others. We cover a lot of great stuff: coding, servers, hardware, software, 3D printing, electronics, single board computers, robots, networking, all sorts of great tech related stuff that you're not going to want to miss. So if you want your YouTube feed to be that much more interesting, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button. But more important than any of that stuff, you're going to want to leave a comment down below, especially if you know something that I don't know. Definitely let me know, not just for me, but for the next person who comes along and watches this video and reads the comments. Leave a comment for them also. Any comments, questions, criticisms, whatever you want to say, I probably want to hear it. So do leave a comment down below. And that's pretty much it for today. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.